for cafecito, time for cafecito, time for cafecito break. Join us, take a sip. It's time to wait. Hurry on up, we've got people to shake. Time for cafecito, time for cafecito, time for cafecito break. Time
All
for
right, mi gente, welcome. Welcome. Welcome.
Kozi's kicked out right off the bat to start things off. We'll get him by there. He is.
You know, this is tough competition here at Cafecito Break. Welcome to Cafecito Break with Mark and Kozi. And we are here Mondays live 8 p.m. Eastern time. Please take this moment to like, share, subscribe. Let the community know that we are live and you could listen to us on X, Rumble, and YouTube. Welcome everyone. Today we are going to be talking about medical freedom. We are in a constant war for medical freedom and against medical tyranny. And Kozi's going to be sharing some hot news in that realm. And we're also going to talk a little bit about the Epstein files, as well as maybe some New York news and maybe a couple of wild card updates. So at this time, I'd like to pass it on to Mark and then Kozi, who's going to lead off the stories today.
Hello, fellow freedom-loving Americans. Mark for NY here, former State Assembly, City Council, and U.S. Senate candidate in New York, freedom fighter in New York, hitting the streets, truck driver all over the country, currently in Nevada, trying to keep Nevada red. A lot going on, but in the news, got a lot of topics to cover, as Cafecito Break said, involving medical freedom, the Epstein files, and other topics. But to start us off for the show with the first topic, introducing himself and then getting right into it, the one and only Kozi Wellness. How's it going, Kozi?
What's going on, everybody? Well, there's a lot of news that came out, a lot of medical freedom news. But I just want to start off by saying we are real independent reporters here, real independent journalists, influencers, whatever you want to call us. Many people, many of your favorite influencers and your favorite alternative, quote unquote, alternative media people are bought off and paid for, and you can see it as they keep, pushing certain narratives, or, you see a lot of this stuff, a lot of division. That's not us, right? I can speak freely. I'm not bought and paid for. Mark is not bought and paid for. Rose Angel's not bought and paid for. So we're bringing you the truth, okay? And I'm going to get back into that. There's a reason I'm bringing this up. But the first exciting news is news that I've been waiting for since forever, since I got into this medical freedom fight. Since the beginning, when I discovered that pharma was shielded from liability. You couldn't sue them. So if you got injured by a vaccine, you couldn't sue them, right? And that's what made them reckless. That's what made them create vaccines and start throwing them one after the other. Because when I was a kid, we had 3 to 5 vaccines, right? Later on, around after 1986, they started chickenpox and this and that and this and that. And they start throwing them all on left and right, because they knew they couldn't get sued if anything happened to you. And if something did happen to you and you were allowed to go into a kangaroo court of their own, it was a conflict of interest. It was basically the government fighting you. And so who do you think's going to win? And the most they would give you is a couple of hundreds, maybe, I don't know, $200,000 if you had a serious injury, maybe. And that was 1 in a million you would win. It's like winning the lotto. So I'm so freaking proud of Rand Paul, okay? Representative Rand Paul from Kentucky steps up with pure courage and bravery, because we know what happens to people if they go against pharma, okay? So he stood up like a man, and he has out right now, which I need you all to get involved in. We're going to need all hands on deck on this one. Senate Bill 3853, and that is a bill to undo the Vaccine Compensation freaking Act, okay? That injury act, where they prevent you. Could you imagine that? Our own government protecting pharma and saying you can't sue them. What industry? There's no industry on this planet that has this liability protection. It's like saying, yeah, no problem. That literally means they could put rat piss, they could put rat poop, they could put crack in there, cocaine, whatever. I'm exaggerating, but basically they could throw anything in there, and something happens to you, you can't sue them.
You say you're exaggerating, but what they actually put in there is even worse than what
It's
you
even
meant.
worse. It's DNA. It's aborted fetal tissues where they lied to us for decades, telling us that's a conspiracy theory. Yes, there's fragments. There's aborted baby fetuses in vaccines. Okay, and that can explain a lot of issues. But anyway, yeah, much worse. Aluminum, mercury, all the shit that they put in there, knowing that it can brain damage you, knowing that it could cause autoimmune diseases, knowing it could literally give you any disease. Any chronic disease can be linked to it. Any autoimmune disease can be linked to it. Any allergy can be linked to it. Anyway, I can go on and on and on. I need all hands on deck. I need you to call your representatives in Congress. I need you to call your representatives in the House, okay? Because there's two bills out. There's a companion bill to this as well. Anyway, during the weeks to come, I'm going to be hitting this and telling you guys to call and email and visit, set up a meeting, and you must discuss this. This is the only time in history we're going to have this opportunity, because right now we have all the planets aligned for this to happen. All the right people are in office, okay? Robert Kennedy Jr., HHS secretary, first time in history. Now's the time, people. So before I go on to the next thing, what do you guys think about this?
Well, it's interesting because, like, literally, I think 2 weeks ago, I said on the show that the most important thing they could do for vaccine safety is to repeal the Act of 1986, which was one of the worst things that happened during the Ronald Reagan administration. And a couple of weeks later, Ron Paul is doing it. So it's obviously, this, it's probably a coincidence, or maybe somebody listens to me when I talk out there, and we post these shows on the archives, and people do listen to it, and maybe, hey, that's not a bad idea, or just a coincidence, whatever the case may be. It's long overdue, because like you said, it's what industry does that? I mean, if there's a recall on a vehicle, a safety recall on a vehicle, and somebody gets killed, you have the right to sue the car manufacturer because they screwed up. They didn't assemble your vehicle properly, and they put your life at risk. But injecting something into your body that could ruin the rest of your life, give you autism, and as much as they say that that's a myth and it's not proven, of course it is. Look at how the numbers skyrocketed once that 86 bill passed. Once Reagan signed that into law, it's autism skyrocketed since then. All these additional vaccines, it's like the pharmaceutical companies have never seen a vaccine that they don't like, because they have no risk. It's all profit. They're giving it to these doctors, and the government is forcing children to take it. They can't go to school unless you take these certain vaccines. And if your child is ruined for life, tough shit. How is that fair? How is that even, how is this legal for so long? It needs to be stopped. People really need to understand the importance of how horrible of a concept that this is even real, that this bill passed in 1986, where pharmaceutical companies can't get sued if they hurt you, if you die, if you're permanently disabled as a child, instead not even being able to enjoy childhood like a normal person, because you have a permanent mental damage, like not even being able to live a normal life from basically before you could even remember, before you're old enough to even remember anything. You were injected with all these vaccines because people want to make money and they don't give a shit about society. So call your Congress member, call your senator, make sure this bill passes. Obviously, it has to go to the health committee first. So the members of the health committee in the Congress, if you live in their district, get on their ass and you call, email, and tell them, make sure this bill comes to a vote. It's long overdue.
Excellent points. Thank you, both of you, for bringing up the story and for what you filled in, Mark. I would like to, at this time, share a video clip of a previous video that we did with the legendary Dr. Brian Hooker. Because if you guys don't believe us, let's listen to someone with credentials and the experience of exactly what the both of us, the three of us, are talking about.
It's like seeing the most horrific auto accident that you could ever imagine in your life. You can't unsee it. You can't unsee the damage that massive vaccination has done to American society and really done to society worldwide. And so, I've always felt like God's chosen us for this particular time, for this particular truth, and that the society really depends on us speaking out, really being able to say that particular truth. And I've, my son is he's nonverbal, but he spells to communicate. He's a speller, and so we ask him all the time, do you want me to continue to do this, or do you want me to stop? And his answer is always, no, I want you to continue. I want you to help other kids like me, other kids, so they can prevent having, a lifetime of vaccine injury. And so he is the motivation. I mean, he is clearly is the motivation. He's experienced, he's suffered more pain, and so, as long as he says to keep going, then I keep going.
That was the legendary Dr. Brian Hooker. My contribution to this section of the conversation is ultimately, why are we even here if we're not doing it for the children, for the young people, if we're not doing the best that we can every day that we get up? And I know that life is tough. It is beating so many of us down in many different ways. It's so crushing. Many of our loved ones are sick, ailing. I coming up with because of these vaccinations, and then the push in 2020, many people and many families are suffering. This is why we do this, not just to be the bearer of terrifying news, but to also like bring you updates and encourage you to take power into your own hands and make some noise. Contact it. These things are not lost. They're not in vain. Kozi can tell you, Mark can tell you, the many times we, a small group, went to Albany to raise awareness for rights in New York City that people just want to write away with a pen, with a stroke of a pen. And believe me, don't ever discount that a small group of people can make a difference. So please, I know that it can be overwhelming. A lot of us feel like, what more do I have to worry about? But our freedom and what we get to, say yes to is really, really important.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you said that, because since COVID, since 2019, actually, before COVID, when we lost the religious exemption, right? That was the biggest hit we've taken. And ever since then, though, they have never been able to pass a pro-vaccine bill. And that's because of us. That's because they angered us so much that we've been going back every year, twice a year, since then, and they were not able to. Why? Because we had the cameras in their faces. Why? Because we kept coming up. We were able to stop a bill. Remember that, Rose Angel, when we went in there? You were recording it. What an epic video! I want you to bring that up next week if you can, or whenever. You brought up this video. We had Joe Speaks Truth. We had a whole bunch of us in there putting the pressure when they never thought we would appear. They tried to hide it from us. They told us it was a private meeting. When we had amazing Rita Palma, John Gilmore, myself and others telling them there's no such thing as a private meeting. This is a public meeting. You're actually in our house. You are using our building, the taxpayer building. There's no private stuff that goes on here. They tried to lie to us and get us kicked out of the room. But guess what? We had cameras in their faces. They were cringing. They were squirming at our presence, and we were able to stop them. And we do this time and time again. Thanks to John Gilmore. Shout out to John Gilmore, Rita, Michael Caine for all their amazing leadership. That's what we have to do. You can't just stay home. You can't just give up, because if you give up, guess what? They take over. And we've shown, and they have shown themselves that they will take over, but you need to put the cameras in their face because they hate the fucking spotlight. And it's your responsibility. We're going up March 24th, I believe, right, Rosangel? I think it's March 24th.
I believe
Going
it's
up to
March
Albany.
24th.
24th. If I'm wrong, check me again. I've posted it. Michael Caine, Teachers of Choices, posted it. We'll keep reminding you guys, get ready. We need your bodies up there. And the reason we need it up there is, number one, I'm going to talk to you about it right now. Kathy Hochul, a few days ago, okay? All right, let me rewind. Remember we were talking about it last week? I think it was last week or the week before, where the United States pulled out of the World Health Organization. And then we had pieces of shit like Gavin Newsom of California, who said, I'm signing back in, right? A state. Well, what he did was he signed up to their updates, and he wants to take their public health measures, right? He wants to agree to them. He wants to follow their guidance. That's what he's signing up for, okay? And then I said to you guys, I said it, and like I said it happened. I said, I guarantee you, Kathy Hochul will sign up next. Other blue states will sign up, right? Because they can't stand freedom. They can't stand independent thought. They can't stand a free people that can choose what goes into their bodies, where they could choose whether they want to put a face diaper on their face, whether they choose to quarantine themselves, whether they choose to lock themselves out of society, okay? So Kathy Hochul, brittle Kathy Hochul, plastic face, plastic surgery, Botox bitch, Kathy Hochul says she's going to be following the World Health Organization's guidance. Now, I don't care what you do, Kathy Hochul, because that will never apply to me. I will never listen to you, just like I never listened to you in the past, just like I didn't listen to Biden when he told us to mandate, just when my boss has told me to take it or I lose everything. You know what I say? Go F yourselves, because I'm a free human being, and you will never decide what I eat, what I drink, when I can go to the bathroom, where I can go, where I can't go. You're never going to tell me that. You can say it all you want, but I will never listen to you. Anyway, Kathy Hochul, the witch, does this. Pritzker, I think that's his name, from Illinois. He's another little prick, little weenie, little World Health Organization globalist scum. Okay? These are people who need to be removed from office. These are not people who represent the people. They represent special interests, and we need them to be removed from office.
Yeah, I agree with you. And pretty much, I mean, we all kind of agreed once you called it out that once Gavin Newsom did it, he's just the first New York is going to follow, and it didn't take very long for that to happen. So it's complete nonsense, but we knew it was coming. They're tyrants. They like being little tyrants, and that's all I'm going to say on that topic. Cafecito, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I just love how Hochul just. I think that what aggravates me the most is that everything is about taking that out on Trump and completely dismissing the American people. So, for example, Hochul said something about that the Trump administration is compromising the country's global health safety and preparedness to respond to future pandemics by pulling the U.S. from the United Nations agency. So you see who they are beholden to, and it is not for public health. If there is another public health emergency, like many of us are speculating that something is being set up, something's being They're going to try to figure out a reason to lock us down again. And I pray that I'm wrong. You don't think that we have the perfect combination of tyranny with Hoku, who just, has proven that she just loves to keep extending emergency, I forget the mandates that they kept extending during COVID, so she could continue to grant herself unlimited powers. And then with Mom Donnie, who is clearly already, through his leadership, I don't know, raising a lot of communistic alarm bells for people. So I feel that this is very unsettling.
And definitely. Moving along to the next topic, Kozi, about the Epstein files and Marjorie Taylor Greene, what she had to say.
Yeah, can you guys hear me? Okay, yeah, because I wasn't sure if I was muted. But yes, well, I want to bring it to your attention that Marjorie Taylor Greene, she recently came on and did a little video, and she's claiming that Donald Trump is the main reason why the Epstein files were blocked. And he's been fighting, basically, she was saying that he's been fighting the hardest, okay? Which I don't put it past him, right? Like, I can see that. So I posted this video, and there's a few people who lost their minds, right? Attacking me for posting it. Somebody said, shame on you. They can't believe it, and other people just can't believe it. Listen, people, grow the fuck up. Okay? Are you a cheerleader or are you a patriot? If you're a cheerleader, that's fine. That's cute. Put on your fucking pom-poms, put on your little fucking skirt, and cheer on politicians. I don't fucking do that. You have never seen me cheerlead any politician. You know what I do? I voted for Trump 3 times, okay? Because he was the better choice. Okay? Of the 2 choices, he was the better choice. I'm not going to sit here and fucking cheerlead a politician. Okay? Our job and our role is to put their feet to the fire. They've made us some promises, okay? And we're going to make sure they're held accountable to follow through. You're not going to see me here like listen, of course I'm going to applaud him when he does well. And I'm going to call him, and I always do. You guys see me. I'm very fair. When he does something great, I freaking applaud it. I'll post it. I'll share it. I'll tell people about it. But when he does something fucked up, I'm going to be the first to fucking say it. Okay? It's not, we can't have this cheerleader mentality. The founding fathers didn't want you to be a cheerleader. They want you to be a defender of liberty, a defender of the Constitution, and that's it. They said no matter who's in that throne, I say throne, it's not supposed to, it's whoever's the public servant, right? You have to put the pressure on them. Okay? So stop being little fucking cheerleaders. Okay? Telling me to shame on me. The same people who voted for Democrats, who voted for Andrew Cuomo when Trump told them to do that. That was not a cool thing to say, right? And I called Trump out on that. That was not a cool thing to do, to sabotage New York. All right? And if you're going to follow your orders from somebody, it's not cool. You're being a cheerleader and you're being a cultist. This cultist mentality is what we got to break. Okay? I need you guys to break out of this trance. You're not part of a cult. And when Donald Trump says something, you guys run and do it. If he says, put a thumb up your ass, most of you will fucking do it. If he told you to jump off a river, jump off a hill, you guys would do it. And you would proudly do it and think you're patriotic doing it. Wake the fuck up. Stay out of the cult. Use your brain. Okay? There's a reason why Trump doesn't want them fully released. Okay? Maybe it has something to do with his donors, his funders, maybe certain people he's connected to that he can't release them. Whatever the case may be, we know they're holding back. We want them unredacted. We want them now.
Now, I'm going to go on a rant about this one, but I'm going to pass it to Cafecito first for a few minutes, and then I'll close out the first half hour of the show with a rant about this topic. But Cafecito?
I'm just I'll pass it on to you, and then I'll take it.
Okay, so first of all, Kozi, why are you concerned about the Epstein files? The Dow is at 50,000. I mean, seriously, that's one of the dumbest things I've seen anyone in government do in history. But they also say we can't release all the files because the entire system will collapse.
Let it
Well, let the
collapse.
system collapse. Well, I'm all for the system collapsing and rebuilding. The system is shit the way it is right now. There's a TV series that came out with Kiefer Sutherland called Designated Survivor, right? So in that series, the entire State of the Union blows up. So every member of Congress, vice president, president, every member of the U.S. Senate, all gone. So a designated survivor is a member of the cabinet that stays behind and becomes president in the event of a catastrophe. So there, yes, obviously, there if half of Congress or more than half of Congress or all these people in power end up going to jail, it would be a rebuilding phase. But they belong in prison. They're molesting children, raping, torturing children, and we're just supposed to ignore that because the Dow is at 50,000 or because the system is going to collapse. That's complete bullshit, okay? And first of all, I've been saying this as a conspiracy theorist ever since I created a public account when I ran for office in 2020. I wasn't worried about just what the voters thought. I wasn't thinking, oh, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist. I said all of this. I said Pizzagate. I said Wayfair. The Wayfair thing sounded insane. I'm like, they're naming closets after missing children, and they're selling these closets for $20,000 to $30,000. That just doesn't seem right. And then that comes out to be true on the Epstein files. I said that the Comet Pizza was a false flag because when people Google Pizzagate, they think of Comet Pizza and the guy that came in and shot up the place thinking children were there. But that's not what Pizzagate was. It was released in WikiLeaks that pizza was code word for children. Pizza in the pool and like the Clinton emails with Podesta and stuff. That all
Just
that stuff was
I,
out for a long time. Go ahead.
I don't want to stop your rant, but I noticed that ever since you started just mentioning the Epstein files, we've been the stream is getting like interfered with, and I don't know if it's YouTube, and it could be because we're using special words. It could one of our streams we could get kicked out. That's what I mean.
Okay. So the point is, I've been talking about this for a long time. A lot of other conspiracy theorists have been talking about this for a long time. And everything was true. And we're finding out everything to be true. Now, do I think Trump is hiding this stuff? No, because I think, well, I mean, he could be, but everything released at once, I think, maybe they're releasing things little by little as opposed to everything in one shot. I think I heard that some things that are redacted, the way the file is, that people were able to copy and paste and able to get the unredacted version. I don't know how true that is. I'm hearing all different things, but I'm hearing that, all different names being mentioned in there, and people are putting that, someone like Alex Jones' names was mentioned a bunch of times. But Alex Jones, the same thing as Trump. Trump was mentioned a bunch of times, but as a threat to taking them down. So that's the big difference. But that wraps things up for the first edition of the show, which airs on Brooklyn Free Speech on Saturdays. We'll continue with the Epstein files, and I'll pass it to Cafecito to take over with her thoughts, and then I'm sure we'll talk more about this for a while because it's a very popular topic. So.
All right, that was just a little graphic for separation. We're getting wiser as we keep doing these live streams, mi gente. Yeah, I did not want to cut your rant off, Mark, but the moment Kozi started speaking about it, we were getting interference. At one point, you dropped out of the box, Mark, and I didn't see you at all. And then that happened with Kozi. So I'm not sure where the interference was. And then we started getting deeper into it. So, and isn't that a frustrating point of all this? because the censorship continues even with the vomiting of Epstein files. There were what, 3 million? Did all of them get released yet? Because didn't they say that it was maybe a 6 million? Who's got time to look through 6 million if that's the total, quote unquote? Some of the things that I'm thinking about.
Well, I mean, nowadays, I'm sorry, but like you could have AI run through things to summarize, all these key points, but you can't trust AI for that either. Yeah, each
Yeah.
individual going through 6 million files would be crazy. But continue.
And I thought about that too, but you can't trust AI, especially when some of them in ChatGPT, according to some of the reports, have threatened the one of their users, or there's been, as we've reported a few weeks ago, people are not having fruitful relationships with AI. But that's even a deeper story. I've just been contemplating. We've been wanting the files, right? When Trump was running, he said that he would release the files, and all of a sudden he didn't want to release them. So why all of a sudden would we get a vomit of the Epstein files like this? What would be So I'm asking a question, right? I have a theory. I'm not the only one that's thought this. Other people have shared this on the internet, which is, could it be that part of this dump is, you remember how we were talking about that they're trying to do the teen bans on social media, and they're asking people to upload their likeness, and they have to do video selfies to prove that they're not a child. Remember we were talking about that? uh, could this be used as, like, we're gonna get, let's say, parents so scared of 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 anything that could happen to their children, that now that fear, like they used fear in COVID, like we got to protect grandma, for example, and grandpa. Well, now we're going to protect the children. Look at all the depraved men and women in society. We can't even trust them in school, or the principals, or in sports, or in whatever. So yeah, let's have more child protections. Yes, I want more tracking and tracing. Yes, I want a digital ID. Yes, I want every single person who's online to have a digital imprint, because I don't want anybody interfacing with somebody who's not a real human or a child. So could we, through trauma, say yes to the digital ID? Could this be one of those avenues? Just something I'm thinking.
Could we do that? No, because people like the three of us would never do that. We would never agree to it because we would see past the bullshit. Will other people do that? Will other people think that RFID chips are a good idea for their own safety if they're worried about their accounts being hacked and identity theft or other various reasons? Yeah. And when it pertains to the Epstein file specifically, there's already AI videos with Trump and children that aren't like the same video that I seen with him laughing with Epstein and pointing at girls. Now, instead of them being adult women, at a party, they're little girls in like little uh, dresses and stuff. And it's like, no, that's not the original video. That's altered. So, yeah, there's definitely going to be something where people feel the need to have the protection because you do have AI scams with voice where you have AI's voice calling somebody and saying, "Hey, I lost my phone and I'm stranded. I need you to send me money or whatever." And it's that person's voice, and they're calling somebody to ask for money, and it's crazy. But yeah, so I'm gonna pass it to Kozi because there's a lot more that I want to talk about the Epstein stuff, but I want to get his take on what you said, Cafecito. So before we go back to that.
Yeah, I mean, I have no more to say to that because we've talked about it, right? And the same thing I'm saying is, of course, they can use that, and they're going to, scare us, and like just like COVID fear, they're going to fear us into signing on to things and more control and more government, tyranny for us. I wanted to quickly talk about something that I wanted to address from the earlier conversation, is this topic about 3D chess. Okay, next person I hear saying he's playing 3D chess, I'm gonna kick you right in your fucking nuts. Okay, honestly, shut the fuck up. 3D chess, 3D chess. How? Don't worry, he's playing 3D chess. You don't even know what he's doing. He's playing everybody. Stop it. Stop it. Wake up. You're not a child. Nobody's playing 3D chess. The only person playing 3D chess is these politicians playing 3D chess on your brains. Stop it. Grow up. Hold them accountable. Hold them accountable and stop being little children.
Well, I'm going to comment on that a little bit because I know Marjorie Taylor Greene, as soon as she resigned, she mentioned that there's no 3D chess and stuff. And it's like, if there was, what makes you think Trump is going to tell you every detail of his plan and trust you with that? He didn't grow up with you. He doesn't know you.
Yeah, and I'm
You
not
can't.
talking about her. I'm
No,
personally, I'm not talking about her.
I'm
I'm
just
talking about these
saying, like,
idiots who like
no, I'm
trust
just saying.
the plan, and don't
I
worry. Like
I know,
that
and
shit drives
I've
me
said
nuts.
I've said this for years when it comes to the trust plan that it reminds me of Operation Trust and how the Soviet Union was implemented in communism because
Exactly.
they said that there were white hats behind the scenes, just like with the Q thing, where everything, trust the plan and everything's going to be fine, where there's no need for you to do anything, everything's already taken care of. And everyone's just like sitting back and trusting Trump, and Trump is going to fix everything. He's in office, everything's going to be great. And that leaves the door open for something like that to happen. But at the same time, Trump has been doing a lot of good while he's in office that doesn't, fit that part of the narrative that he's a traitor, because the only thing, there's two things. There's Operation Warp Speed, which it was during an election year, where if he didn't, if he came across as an anti-vaxxer, there was probably no chance of him winning. He was trying to appeal to, the masses who were scared by the mainstream media with the fear mongering that he's going to come up with this cure for them and they'll be fine. But he also takes people as if they're idiots, like the way he talks to people. Like, I saw a post where he said, I was in Iowa and gas is at 185, and a year and a half ago it was $7 in California. I'm like, what is that's not comparing apples to apples right there. Why do you say that? Why don't you just say that it was $3 in Iowa a year and a half ago? Because that's about what it was a year and a half ago. And that's still a huge improvement. You're talking about over 30% less than what it was a year and a half ago. Don't mention what California was $7, because that's not relevant to. And like the way his marketing with emails, like, you're constantly flooded with emails if you donated to anything on WinRed that says, hey, this is President Trump, I need your response. It's like, no, President Trump is not emailing me. Why are you even doing that? Like, why are you taking people as if they're stupid? Are you trying to take advantage of the elderly that have dementia or something and actually believe that Trump is emailing them? Why is his campaign so manipulative, and why does he treat everybody like they're idiots?
And I just want to put it out there, like, just so you guys don't think I'm just bashing Trump, because you know what? I give Trump a lot of credit for sticking to his promise, which I didn't really believe he was going to fully go through. But when RFK Jr. joined his team, he kept his promise. He said, I'm going to let him run wild, and he has, to the most extent, like, to the best he could, right? He's worked on the food dyes. He's worked on the fluoride. The new guidance is remove fluoride. He's telling people remove it. Now it's up to the states, obviously, and different municipalities to do it, right? Because it's up to them. But he's put it out there. He's told them about the vaccines. He's cutting back. He's telling them, listen, it's not one size fits all, right? It's not to the extent that we want it, but guess what? It's a lot. It's improved. We've never had an HHS secretary like this in history. The best HHS secretary we will ever have. And Trump is in full support. He literally took a lot of slack for taking him on. So I do give Trump credit for that. I do. So I'm not here to bash him, but I'm here to just check him when he says reckless shit. Like, and this goes back to like the cultist mentality. Is he says something and then the cultists do it. When he started attacking Thomas Massey and Rand Paul, the two biggest patriots we've had in our history, he starts attacking them. Why? He calls them rhinos. There's no evidence of them being rhinos. In fact, they're extremely right. They're so right that, and when I say right, it's not a bad thing. It's like they're as close to the Constitution as possible, and they're not going to just vote because Trump told them to. They're not going to do something that's out of the Constitution or that doesn't sound right, right? That's not for the people. So then when you see that, and then you saw him attacking Marjorie Taylor Greene, then you see all the cultists attacking Marjorie Taylor Greene, where a year ago they weren't doing that. And this is why I got attacked today, and explaining that is because once Trump gives his marching orders and he attacks and bullies somebody, then it's like giving his people, his cult members, the okay to start bullying that same person and anybody who agrees with them. Candace Owens Candace Owens and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Massey and Rand Paul attacking them. Why? Because they don't kiss your ass? It's not cool, man. Not cool. And you guys got to wake up.
Yeah, 100% in agreement with that. And I'm not, I mean, that's more because of the Epstein files being pushed hard with Massey. And I think maybe Trump asked him to back down, but didn't give him a reason, didn't tell him wait till after the midterms, didn't tell him, there's
and the foreign wars, right?
Yeah, just maybe tell him, just trust me, like just this isn't the right time for this. We'll definitely get them, but I don't think that conversation happened. And to just, I think that conversation needed to happen with Marjorie Taylor Greene and Massey and Rand Paul to say, if there's a reason why Trump doesn't want to release this soon, to tell them to hold back. But he ran on the promise of releasing these files, and everyone wants them unredacted for obvious reasons. So, I mean, there was a lot of things released that implicate people like Jay-Z. And I saw a rumor that Jay-Z left the country, but then he's there at the Super Bowl, so he didn't really leave the country. And it's like, okay, like, why is nobody being arrested? And then you have Pam Bondi just answering that question with the Dow being at 50,000, which is the dumbest thing I've seen.
And their responses, right? Their responses, like you perfectly, like, good thing you mentioned this. Pam Bondi, her responses are what make us question. When Trump responds about the Dow Jones, and then Pam Bondi pretty much saying, like, forget about this, right? Like, fuck you. Who the fuck are you guys to tell us what to forget, what we're going to... And then, anyway, one more thing I want to say, as you guys are reminding me, the other person that Trump attacked was Curtis Sliwa, one of our biggest, one of our best New York candidates that we've ever had, like real New Yorker, right? Stepping up. How dare you insult him, shit on him to promote Andrew fucking Cuomo, the Cuomo-sexual himself. How dare you? And then the same people, right? The same people who attacked me today were the same people that were kissing Cuomo's ass and telling us not to vote for the Patriots, Liwa, and to vote for Cuomo. So this is what I'm saying, man. You follow the cult. You follow the cult leader. Stop doing it. Get your head out of your ass.
Yeah, it's I mean, they've had a personal beef for over 10 years, but that reminds me, like, we're all shadow banned. There's no secret with that. But now I think, like, there's a lot of people that have known me for a long time that agreed with my politics that will see something come across my feed and they will never like another post of mine again. They won't unfollow me because we're friends and we've been in the trenches together and marched together at rallies and protests and stuff like that. But when it comes to me saying something bad about Trump or calling people Cuomo-sexuals, those are the two things. Not voting for Cuomo because I'm not a freaking idiot and I'm not a traitor, and not blindly supporting Trump because my loyalty is to God and country and not one politician or political party. So you have, all these followers that used to like all of my posts and now they don't. Nobody, when I release the MAHA Make America Fun Again, it's the same people within the freedom fighters of New York that are sharing my posts that agree with me when it comes to Trump. The people that were awake from day one, and not the people that are Trump supporters but took the vaccine, or are Trump supporters but and didn't take the vaccine, but now since I'm against Trump, or because I voted for or told people to vote for Sliwa, and that they thought that was helping Mamdani because that's what Trump said. So it's unfortunate that there's a much smaller percentage of people that actually know what's really going on, and the people like us three, and we already know the freedom fighters, we're all kind of the ones that could read between the lines and smell the bullshit when something is said. So, I mean, like I said, I pointed out the Epstein stuff, and a lot of people, they're like, oh, he's a QAnon conspiracy theorist. QAnon brought attention to the pedophiles, okay? And then as soon as QAnon started to become mainstream, the media attacked them as conspiracy theorists, and this whole concept of the elites being pedophiles and running the world sounded insane. And everyone just like, oh, I'm a Trump supporter, but don't associate me with that Q stuff. Those Q people are crazy. And then all these false stories about Q that never actually said by Q, like Biden didn't really hurt his foot. He's on house arrest and he's just covering the ankle bracelet. They got him. It's like that never came from Q. There's all these fake news stories to make things bad, just like the false flag with Comet Pizza. Then they just swept all that pedophilia stuff under the rug during the Biden administration, and it went silent because Trump started the task force for human trafficking, first president to ever do so. Epstein was arrested during Trump's first term. He's been an enemy of Epstein since the beginning, and maybe he's blackmailing people to that he'll stay quiet and leave their name out of it for X amount of time, or whatever the case may be, for whatever reasons he has. And like when it comes to that 3D chess thing, I'm sure he has some type of plan, but it still doesn't matter to the majority of people because we want to know, and we want to know now. But me and you, we see this list and it's nothing. Like, all the memes are out there. It's like the photo of the sister holding the other girl by the head by the toilet while they puke, and it's like the one holding the head is like the OG conspiracy theorists, and like the newbies are the ones throwing up because all this news is shocking to them, that Jay-Z is like this bad person and their favorite celebrity is a pedophile. Like, that's news that just really they can't comprehend that. It hits them a lot harder than people like us who have been down that rabbit hole and already know that it's true and nothing shocks us. So I'll pass it over to Cafecito.
So far as I don't even know what to say because there's such a overwhelming topic. But I wanted to just say thank you to everybody who's listening, that tunes in weekly. We do this live Mondays, 8 p.m. Eastern time. I think that for me, Mark, you raised a great point. Some of us are like so jaded, almost black-pilled with the conversation with the Epstein files, because depending on when in the journey we discovered Epstein in our awakening process, some of us have been, murmuring some of these discussions, maybe silently or in quiet spaces, for over 10 years. So imagine there is a new wave of people who are integrating this information, or trying to, for the very first time. And this is, in a sense, why we even created Cafecito Break over 13 years ago. I'm a crossover from the music television industry. When I left the industry, and a lot of people thought I went crazy, and so many people at that moment in my life were like, even my own family, they thought I went crazy. Why aren't you going back to that industry? Now, I didn't see anything that is being echoed in the Epstein files. But when I put my 10-year, 11-year career that I was there in music, television, and I stack up moments that I had behind the scenes, having maybe little moments with celebrities or guests who were going to be interviewed on either VH1, MTV, or BET. When you start kind of filling in all of those details, it creates tension in the spirit and in the soul. And when people ask, how come if folks are so close, how come no one speaks to it? Besides what we're learning about contracts and NDAs, can you imagine working, at least for me in that field, was one of the most stressful things I have done in my life, working in that industry. I left at the peak of that moment because of the stress, the grueling, the goal, the pacing. They have you running on a wheel and it's so fast you could hardly think. Sometimes a little team was producing 10 or more shows at the same time. So what the heck does that have? Then when you mirror that with celebrities and what they have to go through, and then we start peeling back and we see that they're handled and they're managed, and sometimes a celebrity's life is stacked up with so many to-dos. They're exhausted. Oh, you're tired? You're exhausted? You're experiencing a bit of anxiety? I have just the thing for you. Look, a little prescription. Oh, you need a little pick-me-up? I've got just the thing for you. Oh, you need me to recommend a therapist? Or something a little deeper? Oh, I have just the thing for you. All of us in some way are entangled in these poisonous industries. One of the biggest reflections of all of this is that it's a lot closer. So as we're dissecting this and pointing fingers, no, it's so much closer than you think. It's in your families. It's in your friendships. It's in the type of field any of us have been a part of. Whether you're in banking, whether you're in the music industry, whether you're in the entertainment industry. And no, that doesn't mean that everybody that was a part of it is a fucking bad apple. Just because you see someone in a picture at a function, that doesn't mean assume anything. We have to peel back. We are trying to understand as a human species that there's something dark and sinister about the inner workings of how this world works. And at the core of this, and what will save us in humanity, is to be humans. That's it. That is the simple thing. Be a human being. You're putting yourself or asking people to be put in little boxes. Oh, I don't want to talk to you now because you are a QAnon. Oh, well, wait, you don't support Trump after everything that Big Papa has done for the United States? Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Because all that bickering is taking all of us away from the most important thing. We are getting played by something dark, satanic, and ritualistic, and it is seated every single everywhere. So we are living in urgent emergency times. We aren't even done peeling a little iota of the Epstein file situation and what that uncovers. And he's not the only podrimiento. And when we name drop celebrities, you know what I get a little sensitive about? I'm tired of hearing who the celebrities are, because above that are bigger demons to the celebrities, right? Because these are all little puppets. I want to hear who are the ones who are the puppets. They need to be taken down. because I am not going to be appeased by little people not little people, definitely from the accusations that we've heard with some of the people in this industry. Justice needs to be dealt with them, and karma will deal with them. But let's not forget that while we're talking and dissecting all of these conversations regarding the Epstein files and how difficult some of the conversations are, that while we're talking about, and this is not in this conversation, I'm just saying people who are dissecting these conversations as a whole, you don't know who in your community has been trafficked. You don't know who in your community has been sexually assaulted. It's not just women and little girls, it's young boys and men too. So we need to be walking into this with utmost sensitivity as we continue to explore, and not just sensitivity to the victims, the survivors, but sensitivity to yourself. If you're a type of person that you see something horrible in a movie and then you take it with you in dream time, that can create nightmares. And then there's a small effect, a snowball effect. We are living in a mental health crisis. This dumping of the Epstein files, I don't think is helping the wellness crisis. I think that I don't think that the human beings have even begun to integrate the magnitude of what we're trying to uncover here. And when that does get integrated, I am going to pray that we act righteously.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned before it's not just girls. I mean, Macaulay Culkin said that Michael Jackson saved him by taking him to his uh, his place as opposed to Epstein Island, and and of course, Michael Jackson gets blamed for all the stuff when there was nothing to prove him of being guilty, but they kind of just like a scapegoat, like, oh, don't look over here, look over here. Here's this celebrity. So they'll throw a name like Jay-Z out there into the fire because, oh, hey, look, focus your attention on the celebrities who everybody knows. Let's not talk about, I'm not saying any of the Rockefellers or Rothschilds because who knows who's there and whatever, but let's not pay attention to Prince Andrew or Bill Gates, who got an STD from being on Epstein Island and gave his wife antibiotics in her food or drink or something. So, yeah, so they're throwing the celebrity names out there as opposed to the elected officials who are probably the ones who are redacted and protected. So, let's focus on celebrities and not the people who actually are in much higher power than the celebrities, like you said. So, and I want to just point out with the AI thing, because you mentioned it earlier. I think when these videos come out showing celebrities, people are going to wonder whether it's authentic or not. Like I just said, they just altered these videos with Trump to make it seem like he did something when he didn't. And meanwhile, if there's a video showing Jay-Z doing something, people are going to wonder if it's AI. I mean, everyone just asks Grok if it's AI nowadays anyway, and you could do AI, checks to see if videos are altered. But still, it's there's a lot of people that are going to believe false information, and a lot of people that aren't going to believe accurate information now, which is an unfortunate time of information warfare right now.
Isn't that funny that you said that? Like, you have to go to Grok to be like, is this really? Because I do it too, right? It's just because we know like that's probably more trustworthy. But like, is this AI? Like, imagine it all depends on who is programmed Grok, right? Like, this is actually an AI image. This is not. You know what I mean? It's like now we're just trusting an AI.
Trusting AI to see if it's AI, like AI ratting itself out. Right now it is, but maybe later it won't.
But to a lighter note, I want to talk about the quote of the week. RFK Jr., I'm not afraid of germs. I snorted cocaine off toilet seats. This man gets himself into it's almost like, does he do this on purpose to get like just a rise out of people? It's pretty funny. I mean, just to put it in context for people, because like this is going out of control. He was on a comedian's show, Theo Vaughn, and he was talking about the pandemic, and he's like, during that time, I wasn't scared of germs, right? I'm not scared of a germ. He's like, I used to sniff cocaine off of toilet seats. He's like, it was more important for me to go to my AA meetings, right? Because he's a former heroin addict, right? It's well known. So he said it was more important for me to get there than not. So I'm not afraid of germs. I mean, that was a crazy line. Like, I mean, listen, you want the truth?
It got the message across, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, people are obviously going to bash him for it.
Yeah, listen, you want the truth? You got the truth, man. This guy is an open book. He's just telling you as it is. And with the bare feet, right? They were saying like they saw him on an airplane bare feet into the bathroom. I mean, which I think is pretty disgusting. Like I would never even imagine stepping. I barely want to even use the damn thing. Like I don't want to touch anything in that airplane bathroom. Imagine this guy with his bare feet, and then the whole thing about killing a bear, and like there's just so many things with this guy.
I don't even walk barefoot in hotel rooms. I have slippers on. Like even the hotel bathroom, I don't walk barefoot in there.
But honestly, that was the quote of the fucking month. So sorry about the curse, but yeah, about what do you guys think about that?
Well, you explained what you. I saw the meme before I understood what the meme was about, and I have to be quite honest. I had no idea RFK had said this, but I just saw this little meme and like little moving cartoon, and RFK like doing a line of coke off the toilet seat, and then he comes up and he's like his all bloodshot eyes, and I was looking at it like. I did not find it amusing, and I did not know where it came from, but now I understand.
If that was me, you couldn't waterboard that information off of me. Like, it's just disgusting, man.
That is ridiculous, right? Like, what do I make? I have to say, isn't RFK Jr. We might end up at a point where we're going to be asking ourselves, how do we separate what someone who maybe doesn't have the best life privately with what they're doing in public service? For example, if they are in leadership or, I have to say that's going to be some tough things, because as we keep learning more about the files, like you said, to your point, we haven't really discovered the elected officials. And then here's the thing, if some of them or whomever are in the files, like what's the situation? Like, if we've all heard stories that some people get invited, they don't have no idea where they're going, and all of a sudden, things just manifest around them. And they're like, and I hear this time and time again, oh, that if that would have been me, I would have left. But really think about it. Just think about it. You're in the limelight, or these are practical things for, like, when Kozi is, doing his artist thing, when Mark is running for politics. People are going to want to schmooze with you, especially the more you're out there in certain settings. It could be accepting the wrong invitation to the wrong event. And then you walk in, it could be a picture that compromises you, and maybe you did nothing.
Yeah, like listen, there's multiple things I want to discuss right now, but like Michael Jordan, right? I seen a video going viral right now where he's like, it appears that he's touching the backside of a child, but then when you look closely, is he really, or is he just? It seems like he's just pulling the back shirt of the kid, and then they explain that his shirt got wet and he was pulling it to dry. I mean, I don't know what the truth is. It just didn't look right. I don't know if you guys seen that video.
Yeah, he was at the NASCAR event, and I think there was a Gatorade shower, and there was still ice on the back of his shirt.
Yeah.
So he pulled the shirt to get the ice cube off of the back, and then he like patted his leg because he had water on the leg or whatever.
Yeah,
And
I mean, listen, the kid's father was there. His father said he didn't see anything creepy about it, but I mean, listen, just a lesson to anybody out there. Like, if that ever happens, let the father deal with that. Like, don't fucking touch another kid's, even the back shirt. Like, honestly, you're Michael Jordan. Watch out. I don't know what the truth is. I don't know if he actually was the shirt, if he actually touched the
But
boy.
does he
I'm
know
not.
the kid? Like, is he friends with the father,
Yeah, they
which
were
is
hanging
why
out.
he's there and
Yeah, they were
plays
hanging
with the
out.
kid? You know what I'm
Listen, I'm not
saying? So,
listen, I'm not defending Michael Jordan. I'm just from what I'm observing, that's all I'm saying is like I'm not sure if that was actually him touching the backside of the kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to just accuse everybody now. Like the father was there so like he could tell you, and the child
so
can tell you. Why
I'm
the
gonna I'm
child
gonna
That's
can
put
also a
it.
speak
good point, Cozy.
and the child could be speaking. And the other thing I wanted to address, like you were talking about Rose Angel, you were talking about the Epstein files, and we don't know what's true or not. And like for instance, they were mentioned that a Dr. Oz, right? Dr. Oz sent an invite out. Doesn't mean that he was aware of anything. Like Dr. Oz, and again, I'm not defending him. I'm just an example. You can send out invitations, a bunch of invitations. Like, did he actually understand who he was sending it to? Like, you're sending it to multiple people on the list. You might not have known that this guy's a fucking predator. You know what I mean? Like, how many people do we know that we hang out with and you don't know what they're doing in their home? You don't know if they're abusing their wives, if they're abusing their kids, or like they're stealing, they're murdering, they're raping people. You have no idea what people do behind closed doors. We're just assuming that people are good people. You know what I'm saying? Like we could hang out with people, you don't know what the hell they're doing. So again, not defending, but sending an email to somebody, inviting them to a party is not wrongdoing. But now if you have pictures and footage and then you actually see something, an email exchange, that's a whole different story, right? So we can't just accuse everybody.
Yeah, and we also have to be, for those of us who share videos online or do content creating, as a longtime OG content creator, I just want to warn my fellow community members, be careful what you're sharing. If it's got any minor or like nudity, those are all things that could reflect negative on you. If you be careful what you're speaking and saying, there is a growing trend of content creators and small creators, independent creators who are getting sued and by celebrities and people who they speak of in a certain language. So you don't want to irritate anyone, like all of a sudden you get a special letter to shush in, because some of these people have a lot of monies, right? So be careful what you're sharing. Be vet. Try, if you suspect it's too sensational and it could be AI. Also, if it's not even a matter of you getting into any legal like trouble, be careful what you share, period, because it takes one time and one big miss to ruin your integrity for a long time online. And I've seen some people get caught up there. They want to be the first to report it, the first to break the story, and then it looks pretty bad when everybody screen grabbed what you thought you were breaking, and now everybody's sharing it and clowning you. So it's it's a very chaotic time to be trying to weave through what's real information and what's not. And I don't know about you, but I'm definitely getting internet fatigued. I'm getting chaos fatigued. I'm getting outraged fatigued. And this is why we invite you to join us for any event that any of us might be sharing in the near future. So stay connected with us online, because Mark is doing MAHA. We do happy hours in Brooklyn and other events that we have coming up, and even these podcasts. Like, we break the news, but we're also doing it in a more relaxed style, and we're doing that intentional because we don't want to miss the human element. We don't want to be over here like robots and not be connected. Like, we want to try to be as authentic, and sometimes the things that we say are flawed, or maybe they're not delivered in the right way, but just know that our hearts are in the right place. We have been doing this, all of us, for 10 plus years, and learning and integrating and trying to share what we're learning with our audience. And I feel like one of the best compliments I've ever gotten sharing these shows across the 13 years from people is that people feel a little bit better and lighter no matter what topic we discuss on the show. And sometimes people can even feel a little bit relieved that they're not the only ones having certain thoughts, that it is and it does feel like a maddening world, that I can agree with many people that reality seems like it's not the same. Something feels very different about reality. It doesn't feel quite the same. It doesn't feel quite as human. And this is why I'm going to always be a squeaky wheel to don't forget your humanness. We're going to be tempted and continue to be tempted to stay indoors, to be locked to our screen. But we're letting life and human beings pass us by.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I like about trucking the most is my phone is down a lot of the time, and I'm not there on social media and the, you know, I mean, I still respond to people when I can and stuff, so I'm on it, but not on it as much. And I think like society is a lot worse in a lot of reasons because of social media, but we're a lot more informed at the same time. So you got to take the pros with the cons. And I shared in my stories recently this rat experiment where they created this rat paradise, where basically you have, or mice, excuse me, it had males and females, unlimited food, completely safe from predators and stuff. And then the population skyrocketed. And then next thing you know, there was just too much social interaction where there just too many options and too many things. And everyone just started to stay away from each other. And I think that's what it is now. It's like there's too much social interactions with, you know, guys talking to 20 different girls and girls talking to 100 different guys are getting flooded with DMs, and everyone just wants to be left alone and don't want to bother with any of it. It's just it's crazy how our society is nowadays. And that's when it comes to dating and society as a whole, that's a topic for another episode entirely, which we'll touch on in the future. But back to the Epstein thing. I mean, you said people said that they would leave. Now, keep in mind, you're in an island. Like, you're not. You come to this island for a private party, and then you see all this other stuff going on. It's not like you could walk outside and hop on the subway and head back home. Like, there's a jet that took you there, and it's not like you could just hop on it yourself and leave. You leave when they tell you to leave. And you got to factor that into the situation, because we've heard from celebrities that have been in certain scenarios and called out these people. And then you have the celebrities that were killed by putting these documentaries out there or trying to, I don't care, I'm going to expose this, I'm not afraid, and then they get killed. Avicii and Chester from Linkin Park and other musicians and celebrities, Anthony Bourdain. The list goes on with people who just felt like they're a celebrity, they're too big to just get killed and no one will care. Like, they figure if they die, there's going to be this revolution and outrage if they die. That didn't happen. They just died, and people saw it and people noticed it and took note, and that just makes other people more afraid. There was no revolution. So if you're on this island and they tell you, we want you to do this, or so and so is going to die, or your career is going to be ruined, or you're going to die, or whatever, now you're in a pretty shitty situation. So who knows what really happened and what really put these people into the situation, especially celebrities, because these celebrities a lot of them got the fame because they were chosen and they played along with what needed to be played along with in order to make it to the level that they're at, with whatever you want to call it, Illuminati, secret society, whatever it is. They had to do certain things to say, hey, you're not going to tell on us because we got a video of you doing this. And we saw that with the Stephen Colbert video with this missing child, and there's the face paint, and there's this weird, and the song playing on, and like Colbert's like kind of singing along to it. Some people say that's not really Stephen Colbert, but it's like they make you do something and they make you do it on video so that way you can't rat them out. Like, you're here, this is what we do. Now you have to do this, and maybe it's something smaller, like a video of him just singing at a child, or maybe it's something more sinister that we have this evidence on you, and now you can't say shit. You could partake in it, but you can't say anything. If you don't enjoy it, we need you to shut the fuck up, because you're not leaving here unless we have you on video doing something incriminating. So, I mean, that's how I think it went down. But
I think you're right.
And also to add to that, sorry, Kozi.
No,
To
go ahead.
add to that, some people, right, allegedly were slipped something, and next thing you know, maybe they wake up and their bodies is feeling uncomfortable. They have no memory, but yet there's a video out there that could be pulled over their head if a favor needs to be. So unfortunately, we live in a dark world. We can't we live in a dark world, but I don't want people to feel like, or to think that all human beings are dark. Some
You're
human
right.
beings do dark things, and I think that many people got compromised unbeknownst to themselves. Maybe they got caught off guard, or maybe they were drugged up. So, we're in this very tricky time. Judgment, casting stones, maybe not being so quick to rush to judgments until we are fully understanding of what the real details are, because AI is confusing things. And if we jump to conclusions, and if we allow our emotions to lead our actions, it could just be to the disservice of us as a collective. And I think that would be to whoever does the little strings of humanity's best interest. Should we start wrapping up, or do you have any other stories that you
I
guys would
mean,
like to cover?
we could go into final thoughts, I guess, for each of us, if anything. Cozy, you want to start us off?
Sure. Yeah. I want to just kind of talk about a few things and about what I was saying. I just want to say that I'm not your enemy. Okay. Again, we're not your enemies. When we point out things, and I apologize for my earlier rants, and I'm speaking to the community, I'm not your enemy. I'm saying these things out of love, and out of just, keeping the direction right towards the right way. Okay. And we are here as a team. We are here as people, and it's people versus tyranny. And that's how I see it. So when I lash out and I'm saying the things I'm saying, it's not because I hate you. It's not because it's actually even better than that. I have more hopes for you. I expect more from you, especially because most of you were able to see through the pandemic. So I expect more from you. I expect you guys to be better critical thinkers. I expect you guys to not follow the crowd. I expect you guys to not just be cult members, man. Snap out of it, please. This is for humanity. This is for your children. And then the other thing I want to say is that when you said, this world is a dark place, yeah, but it's also a beautiful place. And the dark place is because we're connected on the internet. We're constantly watching this negative feed, the satanic, dark feed that got us all hyped up and on fight or flight. But I guarantee you, if you just disconnect and walk over to the park and look up at the tree and watch a bird or watch a squirrel for 20 minutes, you're going to say, wow, life is beautiful. Look how beautiful nature is. Look what a
But you have to
wonderful.
breathe in the chemtrails while doing that. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, we'll get to that. But like, you look at the squirrel, chasing its food, and for that moment, you forget about all this, right? And you immerse yourself into nature, and And what you just done is you took off the fight or flight. Now your body's triggering healing mode. Now you're happier. Now you're thinking positive thoughts. And the reason I'm saying this is, and this is a message for myself too, is take some time out of your day to disconnect, connect with nature, take a walk by yourself, not with headphones on, not listening to music, just walk and just watch nature. And I guarantee you'll feel happier, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we covered a lot of topics, and I mean, positive mindset and positive mentality go a long way. And sales, positive mental attitude is everything. You got to walk into every day like everything is great. Otherwise, you won't be successful. That's a normal part of sales. If you're going in there and you're thinking, and just life in general, if you keep saying, oh, this is horrible, I'm never going to get this done, and like, all these negative thoughts, you're willing that negativity into existence. And I believe that's the reality of the situation. Like when, you know, it's all about confidence. If a basketball player thinks that they suck before they shoot the shot, they're going to miss. Oh, I suck. I'm not going to hit this shot. It's too far away. They're going to miss. You're preparing for yourself to fail. So stay positive despite all the negativity that's in the world. You weren't there at the Epstein Island. Obviously, these things are horrible, and we need to put these people back in jail. And George Carlin said in his comedy skit a while ago to bring back public executions, and this would be the perfect time for that, to show that elites can't get away with this stuff. I mean, this is completely unacceptable, and we need to rebuild and repair as a society, because there's a lot of things wrong, and we definitely need to heal, especially after 2020 and beyond, with everything that the powers that be did to us as a society. So, but we will bounce back. There's still a lot of living to do, and you gotta try to be positive. Take some time to stop and smell the roses, so to speak, as Kozi kind of mentioned, not in the literally but figuratively. We kind of have the same message with that, and keep watching us on every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And aside from smelling the roses, you could go and smell some of Kozi's Pure Soap as well.
I thought you were gonna say earlier, stop and snort the toilet seats.
Ay, Dios mío.
Smell the roses, not snort the toilet seats.
Maybe
Come on,
this is
RJ.
when we need Kozi's Pure spray to spray on top of toilet seats before you place your tush or your nose. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
What's the quote of the week though? Pam Bondi's 50,000 Dow Jones, or
know.
or RFK
seat,
is
man.
snorting toilet.
The toilet seat takes the cake.
I
Come
think
on.
the toilet, el toile.
No, that's just something that you would never say.
Don't put your nose right. Right,
says
that's
that.
true.
I mean, that's as hardcore as saying I'm not a germaphobe as you could possibly be. 'cause
He
they
basically
think
said,
that-
I don't give a shit. I know you're going to use this against me, but I don't care. Like, he knows he's the most attacked person, right?
I
That chair.
think that he
beautiful thing to not give a fuck what people think. But go ahead.
well, yeah, well, listen, I am going to roll out a little promo. Ready? Mi gente, guess what? I encountered an error. Okay. Mi gente, do you want to be a part of our show? Let's grow your business together. Why and how? We will give your small business a mention on our show. $25, your name of the business, a link, and one sentence description. The shorter, the better. Think a bit of make it catchy and concise. So I wanted to share the Venmo link, but you could visit Cafecito Break/donate, send a donation link. I'll put more details there of how you can structure it. And then in upcoming shows, we'll start giving small business mention shout outs, and you could get your business in front of thousands of audience people and that we're connected to throughout all of our platforms. So that's what I wanted to say. In terms of closing comments, wow. I have to say I'm really grateful that we do this show on Mondays. I really love starting the week on this note, sharing a cafecito break with all of you, with Mark and Kozi, but everyone who tunes in. And then I really especially love the comments of the clips that we share afterwards. And we also share this show in its entirety on our Substack and across YouTube and Rumble and podcasts. So if you listen to podcasts on Spotify and Apple, you can also catch Cafecito Break. We are everywhere. And please forgive me, I'm a little behind booking guests, but we do have several guests that we are talking to, that we're trying to line up and align our schedule so that we can have that and share with you. And we also have interviews that we haven't even shared yet. So stay connected to Cafecito Break. It's an exciting season, and it's really all about wellness, togetherness, and just growing as a community. Hey, like, we don't all got it right, but we here are like a little family. Sometimes we don't have the family that we wish God gave us, but sometimes I really believe that God brings us family through friendships and other lanes, just as when we were all going through madness in 2020, God aligned many of us who are liberty natured human beings. And look, 6 years later, some of us have relationships that feel like we're siblings. So God blesses all the time. He lifts you up even when it feels like you don't. And as long as you have a breath, that means that you could move forward, even if it's in your mind, with creating a nicer, more elevated thought. So thank you, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Good night,
Good night.
everybody.
Cozy,
See
you don't have
next
to Venmo
Monday.
me 25 for the plug. You could just send me 10. I'm joking.
Marcus already brokering deals, but you know what we'll do? I'll close with Kozi's promo.
Clean your buns.
Clean your buns, because with everything that we talked about, dirty toilet seats
Yeah,
and
clean those buns after you sit on those toilet seats.
dirty toilet seats everywhere. We need to make sure you guys are always cleaning your buns. Es muy importante.
Yes, I have the Make America Fun Again, but before you could have fun, you need to clean your buns.
Before you have fun, you need
gotta
to clean
clean
your
your
buns.
buns.
So let's take a clip of those promos. Oh, thank God it showed. Oh, great. This is wonderful. I didn't even try to do that. Okay, for those who are tuning in, if you want to send a donation, you could Venmo. Wow, I can't believe that's not even what I was trying to do.
We'll
Okay,
get
here
it
we go.
together.
How come I can't hear you?
I don't know. I don't
Can
hear
you
it.
hear the promotion?
Nah,
I can't hear the promo. I see the
hear it.
video.
They
So
mess
that
with
was
it.
Kozi's Pure Soap commercial that was airing. I
It's
don't
okay.
know.
You guys can go watch it
I'm
at
starting to
go to
think that our live
Instagram.com/Kozi
stream has
Pure
a mind of
Soaps.
its own. Kozi, say it again.
Go to Instagram.com/Kozis, Kozis, Pure Soaps, and watch it there. You can send me a DM and place your order and get your buns cleaned up, give it to a loved one, and enjoy.
All right, there you have it. Have a good night, everyone. Catch us next Monday. Same Freedom Fighter time, same Freedom Fighter channel, 8 p.m. Eastern time.
8 p.m. Eastern time, and I'll close out with the donation banner. If any of you would like to take us up on the small business mention, $25. Your name, one link, and a catchy sentence. Make it flashy. All right, guys. Mwah.
Good night.